Well, hello there, everybody. So glad you could join me. I'm Gisela Di Carlo, a Renaissance woman at heart, and I'm a little bit of a lot of things. Yes, you know, I'm a homeopathist, the ones who have been tuning into me. I am a natural health doctor. I'm also a licensed skincare specialist, and I sell insurance for seniors. So, learning and studying new things and different things have been my life subject. I am a little older than what I look, and I use my time every day to learn something new. This show is designed to give everybody a little bit of everything. Today we have a fun show, I hope. A little bit of everything, a little bit of health, a little bit of world news, some senior information that is vital, um, some gardening tips, which when I look outside today, I'm on the northeast and it's like 55 degrees and it's spring like, and it's just absolutely gorgeous out there. I can't wait to get out there and play with my horse a little bit later on. But first, we're going to do this show. And I have compiled a few little things for you. Let's just jump right into it. And if you have questions, please tell Amnan, our producer. Amnan, say hello to the folks.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you very much. And I want to tell you a little bit about health, some of the health things that I do. Um, You know, diabetes is one of the biggest health threats in our country. Seems like everybody, that and cancer, it seems like everybody you talk to has either diabetes or cancer. At least it seems like it at times. I'm glad it is not that way. But it does seem like there are an awful lot of people who are either borderline diabetic or they are full. And I'm here talking about diabetes type 2, not 1. 1 does seem to be on an increase with children, and we do need to monitor our children. If you have young children, I would monitor them, and I would buy one of those little devices. You can buy them for $20 with like 50 strips of, and you can prick. It's just a tiny prick. You don't even really feel it on the finger and test your blood sugar. It is a good thing to do. You don't want ever your blood sugar to be spiking into the 200s. Even after you eat, you want your blood sugar as a when you have not eaten anything early in the morning. It should not be much higher than 110. Okay. After you have eaten an hour later, it is still 150, 160. Um, take a tablespoon of vinegar, put it into a 2-ounce glass, put some cinnamon into that, sprinkle some cinnamon into that, and sip that. It starts equalizing your blood sugar. If it's 180, 190 after you eat, an hour or two after if you've eaten, you do start to have an imbalance because your blood sugar does not come down as fast as it should. So what you would want to do is you want to do the same thing, but you also want to take with your meal a cinnamon capsule. That means a cinnamon. You can buy them in Walmart. 1,000 milligram cinnamon in a capsule. You have it with your food or right after your food, which is really best. It dissolves in your stomach, and then do the vinegar cinnamon cure. It also will make you lose a little weight. The cinnamon will make you, the vinegar will make you lose a little weight if you need to. But if you don't need to lose any weight, if you are losing weight continuously and you don't have a cause for it, please go get tested, because you may have a glucose imbalance that needs to be attended to with medical intervention. What I'm telling you here always, as always, is not a medical advice, but it's just a self-help advice, okay? So you do want to check that. The vinegar and cinnamon, even if you do not have any blood sugar imbalance, the vinegar and cinnamon is a good idea to have a big container. I usually have a big container like this, and I sip it throughout the day, mixed with water. I put some turmeric in there also. Turmeric is against any kind of inflammation that you may have in your body, and it works really well. It keeps me at my fighting weight, which is about 160, 165. I know that I could probably, my clothes probably would fit better if I were 150, but then I'm over 70. And I don't want to lose too much weight, because then my brain doesn't get as much fat. And as we know, brains are made up of fat, and we need to have the lecithin. So I eat quite a bit of butter. I'm a butter girl, so I will never, ever weigh again 125 as I did when I was 20. And that's okay. That's okay. I find that women who are overly skinny when they age, also they seem to their personalities seem not to be quite as jolly. I would think that it has something to do with serotonin. In fact, I just read an article, which you all might enjoy, is the older you get, most people do not have as much sexual activity when they get older. However, they found if you do have, you're still sexually active as a senior, your brain functions better. And they did not say, the study did not say why that was, but they tested about 2,000 individuals, and they found that these individuals who had an active sex life, they were able to compute numbers, and their brain was much more active. Now, knowing what I know about our physiology is that our brain is made of fat. And if we have a lot of fat components in, that we eat, one of the best ones is coconut oil, but also serotonins that are released during the sexual act or before and after, makes us feel so good. They have a calming effect on inflammations. And inflammations are those that harden brain tissue. So that is my explanation for it. I naturally do not have any scientific evidence for that, but anybody who's interested in that, you may want to hunt around on the internet and find if there's some evidence to that. But I found that super interesting. That this was also, as I've said before, one glass of red wine in the evening or any kind of alcohol drink has been found for an increased brain activity. That being said, there are also a lot of other influences for that. Stress reduction, we need to have our stress at a minimum. And right now, that's often not so easy to have, especially when you get older and you watch a lot of TV. Um, Not so easy with all of that political circus that is going on. So we may want to turn the TV off. Hard to do when you have advertised, um, you know, political debates like a circus, and I mean, I don't know. Uh, I'm really at a loss for words for some of those things, I must say. I don't know. What about you guys? I mean, do you like all of this media circus around this? Information is good, but information onslaught? I don't know. It just really seems to bring about a lot more stress. Talking about stress, one of the two things that do bring about illnesses is stress. And one of the things that is predominantly we know is psoriasis. Anybody who is suffering from psoriasis, you will usually find that an outbreak or an inflammation comes about when there was some stress in your life. And often we don't even know that we had the stress. Often it's just that we have this, something came up with the kids, or it was a friend died, we heard, or so on. All that causes slight and major stress. But even slight stress can cause a psoriasis outbreak. My husband just had one on his hands, and it was really quite terrible, the inflammation that he had. And the way we naturally had to have steroids right away, because when you have a major inflammation, you do have to use a steroid. And he used prednisone, but then he used LED light. So if you have psoriasis, check out the information that is about for LED lights. The LED lights that not only produce red light, but also blue light, and an LED light that has red and blue mixed, preferably. On my website, thebeautygroup.org, I sell a small handheld one for a reasonable price, which is, I don't know yet, I don't remember what the price is right there, but it is under $200, and it's really quite affordable, and it works quite well. It's handheld, and you just either put it onto the spot. Now you can also have, if you have larger areas, they are umbrellas. They are whole umbrellas that engulf a large area. So a friend of ours who had psoriasis all over his body, unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, over 10 years now. At that time, we did not have all of those technologies, but if I would have had it, I'm sure that he would have had less suffering if we would have been able to put him under the LED umbrella. It really works quite well. Okay. Any questions to any of that to my audience, Amnon?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just keep rambling on here. Um, and like I said, there is a lot in the world news right now. One of the things that I found super, super interesting was the exploration in the Indian Ocean. Did anybody hear about that? They are putting a drill bit 1.5 miles down in the Indian Ocean at a point to find out, to really get to the crust, to the below the crust where the magma is in our Earth center. As you all know, the inside of our Earth is still liquid, and they are putting a drill bit into that. They have not been able to get all the way down there because they've had numerous problems. Drill bits been lost, been broken off. You can imagine a mile and a half down in the ocean to drill in there. That is quite the endeavor. And I found it super interesting, and I find it super interesting what they're going to find. One of the things that they have found already is in Alaska, they have been doing this. And they have found, they have not gone quite down to the mantle, but they have gone down about well, maybe a mile, not quite a mile, into the earth. And they have brought up samples. And through these samples, they could find how the world has fared through the millenniums of climate changes and through the millenniums of what all happened on Earth. And it is quite amazing. If you put into Alaska exploring, Earth exploring, you'll find much more information on that if you're interested. It's fascinating, very, very fascinating. And they have found through the millions of years that the Earth has survived that we have gone through these climate changes many, many times before. Now, does that mean that the current climate change that we are in is not real or not to be concerned about, or that we can't do anything about it? No, not at all. Because they have also found that never before climate change has occurred in such a fast rate as it is now. It is, and the only possibility is that it is man-made and that our emissions have caused this climate change to accelerate that fast. So, we all should be concerned. We should all be informed about that. Not only that when we vote, and I should hope that everybody is voting. I don't care what party you vote for, but do go out and vote. If you don't vote, you can't bitch. You can't be a Monday morning quarterback and not do anything about it. But we do need to be informed so that we can make our choices. All this plastic that we are using is not good for our landfills and is not good for our world. One other interesting fact that I found in the world news was China's economy. Has anybody followed that? Has anybody noted that? China is having a huge problem economically. They have, in fact, our stock market minor crash last week was caused by Chinese economy, as we know. That was all through the news. But here's the kicker. The Chinese, I've been to China a couple of times. I've talked to many, many Chinese. And they always thought, they always felt that America was the Mecca, as many of the countries in the world do believe. America is still the Mecca of capitalism and good life and plentiful. Much of that is also because we portray it like that. We know who live here, it is not quite that way. Many people here are suffering, and we do have many areas that would rival a third world country. But Chinese did always think that. However, Now, what is happening? Many of the Chinese companies that have paid their workers pittance, pennies, for the products that we all gobbled up and that we all purchased, not only we in the United States, but all over the world, they are now moving their companies out of China. Many of them have just downright closed because there has not been as much trade. But many of them are moving their companies out. I don't know exactly where they are moving to. I'm sure that some of them are moving to Africa, to the nations. Some of them are moving to India, where they can still pay pennies for goods. And Pakistan is a big one, and also South
Vietnam.
America. Pardon me?
Vietnam.
And Vietnam. Yes, definitely. And so now the Chinese workers are in the same dire needs as ours here. They have not been paid. Many are protesting. I mean, there's a whole revolution going on in China. Anybody who's interested in world news can go to Reuters, Reuter, Reuters News, and they are the ones who report on world news like that. A very interesting phenomena that capitalism apparently is not all that it is cracked up to be. Maybe we should find a different model of living, maybe something in between a democratic socialism and capitalism, maybe something somewhere in between, the golden middle rule. I have found that most interesting. Now, what in my research that I found for you guys, what might interest you is I found also one website that I thought was super. I really liked that website. And that was called Grand Times. GRANDTIMES, Grand Times. And it is a senior website. It's a website that has all kinds of information. I mean, super duper information. And they have information on guerrilla gardening. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about that in just a few minutes. And how to live with your pets, how to get older with your pets, and things like that, secrets your cat wants you to know, what to purchase your grandchildren as gifts. I mean, all kinds of things. I thought the site was wonderful. So if you wanted to, but you don't have to be a senior to enjoy this. You will enjoy this no matter what. It's a real informative site and fun, and it's free. It's free. One other thing is I also want you to know is that now that the weather is starting to get better, I know that many of you know, but once you hit 62, you can go to all the national parks for free. You just have to sign up for it. I don't know if you knew that. Many of the museums, you can go for free. Few of the perks, that you have as a senior. They don't give us an increase in Social Security, but they give us the national parks for free. Hey, listen, I take whatever I can get. I think it's all good somehow, my husband and I, we enjoyed that very much. We have visited several of the national parks, and they can be, if you pay for all of that, it gets into the pocket. So it's nice to have that for free. There's also another site that I thought was interesting, and also here again to the stress reduction. Do you know that journaling is a is a is a huge stress reduction? So there is a company, a website that is called Cafe Press, CAFE Press.com. And they sell a notebook, and that notebook has in the front whatever you want that book to be. Maybe you always wanted to write down your life experiences. Maybe you always wanted to write down your family history. Maybe you wanted to write down the things that your grandchildren or your children did in their life, and write a book. And this Cafe Press makes it very easy if you have a book that has on the front cover or on the, what it is about. You will be able to write much easier than if not. I found it always, if you put a label on it, it's usually a little easier to do. But I thought that was an interesting, wonderful website. Okay. So what else do we have here? Any questions at this point that we have? Anybody?
Not yet.
Anybody? No, nobody. Nobody is interested in thing. Okay. Here's one of my little pet peeves. I would like to know, when did children stop calling us adults Mr. and Mrs.? When did that happen? All of a sudden. When I was younger, I wouldn't have dreamed of calling the neighbors, the neighbor adult woman, other than Mr. or Mrs. I wouldn't have called her Betty or Pat. My mother's friends, they were Mr. and Mrs. Amnon, when do you have any idea when that happened? Somewhere in the shuffle, this got lost.
No, I don't.
Don't you
That's
find
right.
that odd?
Yeah.
That now we all call it, equals to equals. I mean, one adult to the other, they would call each other by the first name. But children would call the adults, but even their parents. They even call their parents by their first name.
I wouldn't dare.
I mean, if I would have called my mother Grete, her first name was Grete, I don't know. She probably would have fainted.
You know better.
I mean, it was just not done.
Right.
And
yeah, and you always called your uncles uncle this, uncle that,
absolutely.
or aunt this, or aunt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And my father, I mean, hey, I mean, my father was Dad, but never Hans.
Mm-hmm.
And the teachers, my son is a teacher. And I asked him, and he said, oh yeah, they call me Frank.
No, it was teacher.
I said, what?
Yeah.
I was like, you must be kidding. This can't be. Now, I know we want to be the friends of our children. It's one of the things that happened somewhere in the shuffle there. We all decided we want to be friends to our children rather than parents or teachers or grandparents. Well, that's fine. But you know what? That has something to do with respect. Our etiquettes, our manners, our uh, deference to an older person is a sign of respect. It, you know, and if we lose that, if we lose respect to the people that guide us when we are young, I mean, it's like calling the president. Oh, Obama, why don't you come over here? Not Mr. President.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, guys. Any thoughts out there? Do you think it's right that, yeah, yeah, that's it. There you go. That's it. That's exactly it. Yep. Well, let's talk of a subject that is really coming up fast.
Happier.
The things we need to, tomorrow is Chinese New Year's. Do you know that?
No.
Also my birthday. Thank you very much.
Happy
Made it another
birthday.
year. Thank you. Thank you. And
It is the 20th anniversary of your 22nd birthday.
yeah, almost. yeah, well, you know what? I mean, years are just what we have in German saying. Years are Schall und Rauch. They are just sound and smoke. You know, they just move through, you just move through the years. It has nothing to do with your age. We've had that conversation here that age has nothing to do with what your birthday is. However, I am such a child. I love celebrating my birthday. You know, and I talked to some of my well, they're not really friends, but acquaintances. And because somebody who thinks that birthday is not a fun thing and should not be celebrated, they can't be my friend, because I would like to celebrate their birthday and I like to celebrate mine, because I think it is cause for celebration. It is the only day that it's for you. You know, Christmas and all the other ones, they're for everybody. But that day is just your day, you know, and I like that. So I'm going to go tomorrow with one of my favorite girlfriends. We're going to go to a spa, and we're going to go and have sauna and hot tub and outdoor pool. It's one of those resort spas that you can buy a day pass to, and we're just going to have fun. So I think that is just the perfect way to also celebrate the Chinese New Year, because Chinese New Year is one of the biggest holidays in the world. Did you guys know that? Because all things considered, the Asian population who celebrates New Year on that day, on the lunar year, and which is every year different, is the largest population. So more people celebrate that than anybody else. And they make a big deal out of this. Special foods. They have lunar cakes, which are absolutely delicious. I have several Chinese friends, and they let me participate often. And let me tell you, it's a treat. So next Saturday, I'm going to go, because their celebration is an entire week. It's not just one day. So they have special foods the entire week. And let me tell you, if you like Chinese food, that is the time of the year to go to a Chinese restaurant, because they always have special dishes on those on that week. And then next Sunday is Valentine's Day. What do you think
Yeah.
about Valentine's Day?
It's
Uh,
okay. It's becoming too commercialized, but it's okay.
yeah, I agree with you on that. Valentine's Day is Um, but you know what? My husband and I, we have our days,
Yeah, but
just like
that's
everybody. We've been
right.
married 35 years. Thank you very much. And some days were better than others. But I can tell you that Valentine's Day always, I always have a special thing for him. I always have a card for him. I always give him a special hug. He always gives me a special hug. And if he doesn't bring me flowers, he's in the doghouse forever. But he does. He does. I naturally have to remind him he's 87 years old. So, he has to be reminded. And sometimes we have to remind our friends and here's a tip for the grand mothers and the grandparents. If you're a grandparent, send your grandchildren a Valentine's card because for them, Valentine's is still a big deal. And if grandpa or grandma sends them a real nice card, not just a Hallmark card that has it all and then you just sign it. No, no. Something that is written on there saying what a special little boy or girl they are and how much they love them and that they wanted to tell them that on Valentine's Day. I'm telling you, you're going to be a hero. I do it every year. And even though I don't see my grandchildren very often because they live farther away, um, they kind of think I'm pretty cool, pretty good. They really like me. And because I do these little things, and do that for yourself. Remember when last show, I think I said, um, giving is much more rewarding
Hmm.
than getting.
Absolutely.
So it's a good tip on Valentine's Day. If you don't have a loved one that you can hug, your grandchildren. And you know what? It may also just be your favorite barkeep, your favorite person, maybe the one who does your hair. Give them a special Valentine's note. Doesn't have to be really a Valentine's note with a big heart. It can just say, because it's Valentine's, I wanted to tell you that I appreciate what you do for me. Nice gesture, much better than a large tip. A large tip is good too, but you know,
Yeah, tell
I
them
mean,
that.
yeah, give them both. Give them both. Because I really do think that we should tell each other, and we should do it really throughout the year. But life gets in the way of things like that. So it's a nice way to say hello. And let me just tell you that I'm just seeing this on this Grand Times. There are several articles there on Grand Times. Remember a couple of minutes ago I told you about Grand Times website. There's several articles, and one of the articles that is really super duper, it's a must read, and that is where is it here? It's called Talking to the Queen. Oh, Conversation with the Queen's Horses. Gotta read this. Too cute, too cute. Very, very nice. So if you're an animal lover, that is one that you should read. Now, one of the things here, keeping Bambi out of the backyard. Now, where is that here? Um, mm, 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 mm. I just had it here. Oh, here we go. All right. Now, that talks all about gardening tips in the spring. After winter that we've had, now that the new fresh little flowers and tulips and crocuses and little buds on on shrubs and so on come out. If you have a lot of deer like we have here, they can finish your garden off. I mean, they can really uh, do a number on your shrubs and on your trees and so on. Um, I have found really one of the best, and they give you a lot of information. It's called "How to Keep Bambi Out of Your Yard," and it's an article that it has a ton of information. I just want to give you a little bit of what they're suggesting. One of the things is always plant some thorny plants around your tulips and your crocuses and so on. Um, they will deter somewhat the deer to eat everything up. But the groundhogs and the chipmunks and the even the squirrels, they will still, they will just nibble everything away. Well, one of the things is they say, and I have done that, is urine. You just, for the guys, my husband loves this idea. He says, I'll go and pee out there anytime you want me to, so he he goes and sprinkles over all of these things. Well, we live in the woods, he can, so it's not that anybody is watching him here. And if you have a urban garden somewhere, that may not be so easy. But what you might want to do is you might want to save it in a bucket, just for a little while, and then sprinkle it out there. That works really very, very well. One other thing is you can make one, and that is garlic, rotten eggs, hot pepper flakes, vinegar, and dish soap. Just put all of that in a blender, and then spray it onto your plants. That works also pretty well. The rotten eggs, it's a little bit of a problem. What I have done is I've left the rotten eggs out, and I've blended all of that together, the garlic and the hot pepper and the vinegar and the dish soap. And I use a dish soap that is, a real harsh one, um, one of the cheapest one that you can find. Um, that really seems to be working the best. And then if I have one or two rotten eggs somewhere, I usually leave it out like before already for several weeks, and so they rot. I crush that just before I spray it all on. It's pretty potent, this stuff. And if that doesn't keep away all the little varmints, nothing much will. I bought one year a deer repellent. Well, let me tell you, we could not go out into that yard for like 3 months. It was so potent. It was so bad. The whole yard, everything stank. I will never, ever do that again. Oil also. If you have you might get hot sauce, very cheap hot sauce,
Mm-hmm.
and put it into a very cheap oil, uh, and spray that on. That also will deter, and will keep your flowers, which is a good idea. Now, the worst offenders, in my opinion, are the chipmunks and the groundhogs. By the way, the groundhog did see his shadow, so we are going to have an early spring. I believe in the groundhog. I think he although we know the statistics says he's only 30% right. But you know what? I'm a child at heart. I do believe in the groundhog, and I hope to have an early spring. And if that is, then we have to take care that we might want to, any of the deterrents that you buy in the shops usually do not work any better than what you can make for pennies by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So save your pennies, buy some. And like I have, like for instance, the small plants I buy every year new anyway. So I do, and to have a nice garden if you live in the woods is really an achievement by itself. One of the greatest things what you should do plant in your garden is rosemary, fennel, and nasturtia. Those are famous as an insect repellent. So if you have, or anise and also marigold. Marigold, by the way, um, if you take the marigold and you put it, extract it in alcohol, and the best one is their Everclear, if you can get it, um, is calendula. And any kind of scrape or cut that you have, you put marigold onto that cut, and it heals 3 times as fast. And it stops. It's an antibacterial, a topical bacterial. Rosemary, by the way, is great for memory. If you have a rosemary bush, always good. Put it in extraction either in alcohol, or you can do also an extraction in oil, where you lowly simmer rosemary in oil and then cool it and then take a little bit or sprinkle over your salads. Super duper duper, very, very good. Fennel and yarrow, it's the same thing. Angelica, if you have angelica is a fabulous plant. I have one plant in the back of the house that I planted when I moved here. It comes up every year, has a one big flower. But the angelica, you have to use the roots. You cannot use the leaves. And if you have heart problems, don't use angelica. Angelica increases heart action. And if you have a heart problem, you may not want to do that. So those are the things. And again, this article about Korea planting for the spring is on this Grand Times. I don't get paid from Grand Times, but let me tell you, that website I found to be super duper cool. Okay. Now, a couple of things that you need to know is, if you have a Advantage medical plan, like for instance, you have Medicare, and you have now an Advantage plan instead of a supplemental um, plan. The difference is, when you have an Advantage plan, you're out of Medicare. You're not in Medicare anymore. You're then by the provider. The provider then gives you your health care maintenance. It's called Medical Advantage Maintenance Plan. And these maintenance plans take you out of Medicare. So if, for instance, like with United Healthcare right now, United Healthcare has canceled quite a few of their doctors. I mean, really a lot of their doctors in Florida, in New York. One of the reasons why they did that is because they said that we want to manage for at the most cost productive way your health care. That means the cheapest way. So if these doctors would send you often to specialists or request really medication and tests that you really needed, but that United Healthcare thought was excessive, they would cancel the doctor, and the doctors are in arms over it. Patients are in. So if you have a United Healthcare um, Advantage plan, you can change that plan until February 14th. February 14th, after February 14th, you need a special enrollment participation plan. And that's not so easy. That you need to go through a lot of hoops. So if you are not happy with the Advantage plan, or you have questions about it, please contact me. I'd be glad to, even if I don't know in your state what is really going on, I will be able to find out. You can also, don't go to AARP, because AARP will not tell you the truth. AARP makes money with United Healthcare. I don't know if you knew that, but United Healthcare and Humana, all of these AARP plans that are sold to you through AARP, AARP gets a kickback from the companies. So they will not tell you the truth, but I will. And I am trained in it, and I'm educated in it, and if I don't know, I will tell you, but that is for sure, that if you do want to get out of your Advantage plan, you can disenroll, and the deadline is February 14th.
So tell them how to get in touch with you.
Yes, I will. And that is, you can email me at Gisela, Gisela, at ptd.net. You can also email me at Gisela Insurance at outlook.com. Or you can call me on my phone. It's 570 296 5613. If you get a recording, just tell me what you're calling about, that you heard me on the radio TV show, and I will get back to you. All my information is naturally always free. I will not sell you anything. I will not tell you anything. My mission in life is to educate, to help, and to find better ways. I'm a senior just like you. If I would not have the really the compulsion of constantly looking to see where I can find something that makes more sense, and something that helps to make my life more pleasurable, healthier, easier, whatever. I would not be doing this. I enjoy doing the research. I enjoy giving you the information. So please take advantage of it. There are not many people like me who will share anything and everything with their fellow human beings. But I think if we all start to think that we all are in this boat, in this huge life boat together, and that we need to help each other, and we need to take care of each other. If we all start thinking like that, what a fabulous world we would have, wouldn't we, Amnon? So with that said, I wish you a fabulous Sunday and Super Bowl Sunday tonight. I hope Manning goes out with a bang and he wins this one, and he's been a fabulous quarterback. So I'm going to be sitting with my husband, eating chicken wings and having nibbles and having a beer and enjoying the Super Bowl. So have a terrific, terrific Sunday. I will see you next Sunday at the same time, same place. And with that, Gisela Di Carlo saying bye-bye.
You're tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tanya Love Show, Health Then with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Parent Dome with Ryan Miller, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.